Okay, let's go to group 4, Vanessa's work. This looks a lot better, Vanessa. This is a lot more readable, and I think it has a lot more character, and it definitely says Japanese fluffy pancakes. Here are a few things we can do to just make sure the text reads properly. What I would like to recommend is certain areas like this where the text becomes illegible, we just want to work on. I think space you might need a little bit of space for this, but let's try to keep the text legible because you have some legible text right here. So just careful with how small. I think when you go too small, that's when you start to lose those details, right? And I'm not sure if this is supposed to be stacked in odd ways or are we aligning these stacks, so just be a little bit careful with that. Maybe the steps can align a little bit more comfortably for the read. It looks like this is a centered layout, so I would like to see Japanese also centered, just so that it creates a little bit more consistency. And I think this can go slightly smaller just to match the size of Fluffy, just so we have a bit more space, but just little things here and there. And then for your denotative, just careful when you're justifying the text, we start to get some rivers here. I would personally align to the left just because we start to avoid having those rivers that we see in your paragraphs. I would like to see this aligned somehow to a grid. Right now it's just hanging out here. Maybe align to the left. So that might be one thing to think about. And I like that the size right here is much different than the size over here, so that creates a little bit more variety. I would say make this a tiny bit smaller because it is starting to get too close right here. Alright, let's move to Matt's work. So this is definitely looking better for your denotative. There's a little bit more variety sorts. I still would say it looks a little bit like a traditional recipe card. I'm wondering if there's a way to take this title and maybe put it down here and then move your ingredients and directions up more. Because right now it's starting to give that vibe, and we want to avoid that. And maybe when life gives you lines, you can take out of this layout right here, maybe make it a little bit larger and just play around with it being somewhere on the top, but you just want to break this up a little bit and play around with those paragraphs that you have, okay? So I don't mind this effect, it's just that we just want to make sure that it's readable in certain areas. I think when you go a little too small, we are definitely going to, it's going to a place where it's not really legible. And if we're going to do a curve like that, maybe let that follow the same paragraph that that word belongs to or that title belongs to. And then when life gives you lines, I would like that maybe to align with this paragraph right here. So that would be something worth thinking about. Yeah, this definitely needs to go on top right here, kind of like what directions it's going. And yeah, that's what I would recommend. And I would say, yeah, just make sure that we are not using all corners of the page with type, because we have this corner in this area. So just, again, little areas like that that need a little bit more breathing room and space. And try to see if there's a way. Yeah, I think those diagonals match, but we don't get too close to this area right here with the type. Just little things like that. Okay, well, I hope this was helpful. Definitely some good body of work I'm seeing for the class. I will see your work next week.